We are in Northern Ireland for the final major of the PGA Tour season, guys. Royal Portrush, the Open Championship, Fairway to Heaven. We are live with a four-man team tonight, breaking it all down for you in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on the STT Sports Network, guys. We are live, YouTube and Twitter. Make sure you do me that favor. Hit that like button, that share button, and subscribe button wherever you are watching. And, of course, if you're watching on Twitter, head on over to the YouTube page and subscribe because we got a poll question rolling on the YouTube page right now. I've got 16 golfers' names broken down into 4 categories. Which group is the winning golfer going to come from? So make sure you guys check that out on the YouTube page, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel. We got the normal cast of characters, Jason Sullivan and Steven Fuentes, but making his grand return to the microphone for the first time, and we just learned close to 2 years. You know him as Detroit Dave. We know him as Drew Ward. Good evening, Drew. How you doing tonight?
Hey, good guys. Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys. Good to rip the Band-Aid off. Get back talking some golf. And I can't believe it's the last major already. I think that kind of sucks scheduling wise, but that's a whole different conversation.
This golf season is absolutely flying by, Jason.
I know. I was thinking the same thing earlier today. I'm like, man, as soon as they go to Scotland, you're like, man, there's only a few more weeks left in the regular season, and then fall swing is what it is, but it's not the same. Yeah, it just goes by so fast.
What's the fall swing? The fall swing doesn't even count. Did they change it? The fall swing doesn't. It's different coming up this year, right?
Oh, I don't even know.
I think because the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, okay. Literally after the Ryder Cup, I don't think anybody cares till the playoffs. And, the playoffs, they're changing it up, which probably needed to be, but it just, I don't know. They got to figure out the playoff. It just kind of lacks a little bit of, a little bit of that edge, especially, I know they changed it to where, nobody's starting 10 under or whatnot, but, yeah. So, yeah, after the Ryder Cup and this tournament, it's like, yeah, it's kind of a boring little stretch of golf, but we'll enjoy this one.
Well, Drew, you might not know this. Steven and Jason hate me for this. I hate the Ryder Cup. I don't get excited for the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup. I hate team golf. So this is pretty much the end of the season for me right here this week.
That seems anti-American, by the way.
Right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a little USA on anybody action? It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, it's like saying you hate the Olympics. Like, there's just never.
Yeah. I love the Olympics.
That makes no sense.
I will literally live stream during the Olympics. I will not live stream for the Ryder Cup.
Anyway, you're not looking forward to like drunk New Yorkers just screaming obscenities at people.
I will say, being in New York this year, and it's Bethpage, right? They're doing it this year.
Yeah.
I'm kind of that kind of sways me a little bit in the favor this year. I love that golf course. I would love to play that golf course someday. But yeah, no. Anyway, let's get talking, guys. We got the Open Championship. Obviously, last week the Scottish Open was a semi-exciting event there. Chris Gotterup obviously got the win. I'm not even sure if I'm saying his name right. Literally killing Jason. I don't know about Steven or you, Drew, but Jason and Chris was literally in our top 6 in both our models. We both completely faded the guy. Me, I had him in half my lineups, and right before lineups locked, I pulled him out of all my lineups. I'm like, there's no way he's going to actually live up to the model hype. So there was a very disappointing week last week for Jason and I in the Chris Gotterup sense. Steven, did you have Chris Gotterup in or out of your lineups last week?
I didn't have him at all, but what he killed me because I did have Rory winning with a Fitzpatrick top 10.
Ooh.
So he killed me there. So he did great. Good for him. Way to hold off Rory too, because there was a few times, especially on that back 9, those final really 3 holes, where he could have crumbled, and it kind of looked like he was going to, but his putter was on. He was in such control and command of his short game and his putter on a Sunday morning, I guess, for us. But no, good for him. Good for him to get that win.
Drew, I know you had a bit. You laid the mortgage on Chris Scottie up last week, right?
I did not. I definitely did not. Yeah, I mean, like Steve said, like the birdie he made on 16 when push comes to shove, like that was kind of the turning point when you had Rory breathing down his neck. I mean, you had big golfers right there. To Steve's point, putter was great. Also, the ability to just hit the ball 380. That's not going to hurt you anywhere. Now, was it a one-off? Potentially. I'll be very interested to see how he backs things up this week, because clearly that got him, it's in the Open now, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, good for him and good for everybody that had that outright. Sorry, boys, because that was a juicy number being laid out on Goddard Up.
It was. I'm just so mad at myself and those things. But anyway, looking at the Genesis and how it played out with a lot of guys that a lot of people are, fans of this week, the Matthew Fitzpatricks, the Rory McIlroys, Bobby Mack, who didn't have a great event last week, but, still, made the cut last week. How do we feel like normally tune-ups before majors, we look at one way, but because there's so little links golf on the PGA Tour, do we value how golfers looked last week before a major a little differently this week, Jason?
It's tough because the courses are so much different. I mean, honestly, the only thing that's similar really is the greens. So I'm gonna look at guys how they putted last week. I think that's a little bit. I'm not gonna put a ton of stock into how they played last week, unless the wheels fell off. Because the Open does have a track record of needing to play well the week before, needing to play well in Scotland before you come here. But obviously, the venues are so much different, like I said, and it's hard to compare it. It's not really like, unless a guy just did something like way out of character, or you see a trend like Morikawa just being so god awful with the putter. It's like, I'm not going to take too much from last week, honestly.
It's weird, Drew, because like the Scottish Open, that course, the Renaissance Club, is not a traditional links course.
Correct.
And this week at Royal Portrush, it's not a traditional open course. Like we're in the links season, but both of the links courses aren't traditional links courses, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really like Portrush. I loved it when they played it the last time. It is different. It's not your normal St. Andrews, just straight links, keep it on the ground type golf course. It's interesting. Links golf is different because you play on the PGA Tour and the greens are running 13, 14 on the stimp on a week-to-week basis, but you can't do that across the pond, right? Everything's baked out, so you're getting greens that are slower. I feel like you can be more aggressive putting. And I think it just honestly brings out more creativity around the greens, especially, everybody just goes and grabs a 60-degree in the States, and that's kind of what you do all the time. Here, you're going to see some more, lower lofted clubs being used. And I think the guys like playing this tournament, and even the Scottish Open. I mean, think every year the Scottish Open gets an amazing field. One, because yes, they need to prep on a similar golf course, but it just, you can be so much more creative and just play the game different than you do across the state, in the States. And that's why I think it's just fun to do this. And by the way, waking up and watching golf first thing in the morning is awesome.
It is.
It really is. Because you know what? I won't pay for ESPN Plus. So I don't get to watch the typical early round coverage. I refuse to pay for any more streaming services. So I don't really got to wait till 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to watch golf during the week. And then on the weekends, like 12. I'm going to be watching Thursday right here on this channel, trending in the AM. We're going to do live coverage of the Open Championship right here on this channel, because what else am I going to be doing on a Thursday morning but watching golf? Steven, thoughts on, the return of Shane Lowry to his only major championship this week, but also Rory. And now Rory is you brought up Rory last week, couldn't close the deal or push Chris Goddard out, but he's going home. This is Northern Ireland. This is Rory's territory. And he missed the cut here, I believe, when this event happened in 2019. Like, thoughts on Shane Lowry and Rory McIlroy in general, the storylines, Steven, that are going on with them?
It's one of my favorite things, because I'm big on throughout the season when guys are going back to their hometown, and they get to golf on those courses. And so Lowry, I did watch a little bit of his media time, and he said that on Monday, he's played 6 link style courses in the past 2 weeks. So he's gearing up. He's kind of fell off big time at the PGA Championship, but coming home to this, it means something to him. Same thing with Rory. The season he had it's been one of the best of his. So to be able to kind of bookend majors in a sense for Rory, would be huge. It's his hometown. He doesn't have to hear about any of the noise. He had a great week last week at the Scottish Open. But one thing I want to chime on with what Jason was saying, I kind of am taking a little bit of results of what happened and how guys played last week, because the last 3 winners of the Open have finished T15 or better at the Scottish Open the week before. And if you look at the guys who finished that, I mean, you got Xander, Seth, Scottie, Ludwig, Hovland, even, Wyndham, this set up for him, Fitzpatrick. So I think that the group of guys who I just named, the winner's going to come from there. And you can add Shane Lowry into that just because he's got the experience and he's got the pedigree and the winning pedigree.
I will counter that with the fact that you do have a couple live guys that are going to be in contention this week that couldn't finish top 15 last week. But anyway, Royal Portrush, Jason.
Tom McKibben, another Northern Ireland guy.
I also like how you
who's
named
going to
all
be
those golfers, but you didn't name Scottie, who's the best golfer in the world.
Yeah, Scottie. We're going to talk about Scottie.
Oh, you did?
He's a given.
Yeah, I said Scottie.
I'm hoping Drew did some research because I know Jason and Steven didn't. I already asked them before the show if they heard Scottie's press conference from earlier today and what he had to say. Drew, did you listen to any of that today? And
So
I
I
basically said winning isn't very important to him.
Yeah, so I heard parts of the press conference, especially when he was saying that the highs and lows, it's just not the lifestyle itself isn't as glamorous as you think. I mean, the ebbs and flows of this game. I mean, it really does it to you. I mean, if you think about it on a week-to-week basis, you're 150 players. Winning is not the norm, will never be the norm. It's a fraction of the percentages that you get it done. Scottie always has a good head on him. So that's the part of the interview I saw earlier. But yeah, I mean, it puts it in perspective. I mean, the guy's the best player in the world, has been for multiple years now. When he has a bad week, like I could say last week was not nearly his A game, not even close, and he still finishes in the top 10. But yeah, I mean, it puts it in perspective. Even the best player in the world, the grind and constant critiquing of your game throughout a season is kind of wears on you.
Do you think the way he has this attitude where golf isn't the most important thing to him, does that make the grind a little easier for him? Like, because he doesn't let the ebbs and flows of a golf season bother him. Like, you look at some of the golfers, some of the elite golfers that have had down years throughout their career, Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, guys that were hot and then, had big collapses and have had a rebound. Scottie never gets too high, never gets too low. He's very even keeled. Do you think that helps him with his golf game, or maybe it's a detriment? I'm not sure.
No, I think he's got great perspective, honestly. And now that he has kids and he has a wife, like, golf is his job. But I think the other things in life, whether it be, his faith, his family, like, those things come to the forefront. And I think when you're going out and you're playing, and whether you play good or bad doesn't affect the rest of your life, is very important. And of course, I mean, he's just really good. And by the way, I feel like this year I've seen Scottie Scheffler get more pissed off than I ever have on a golf course. Yeah. But yeah, I think he has a great perspective. And you just can't. I mean, imagine if all of us, with whatever shitty jobs we go to on the 9 to 5, and we're working our ass off. And imagine if like that's all our life was, right? We didn't have any other children, any hobbies, anything outside of that. And I think you can get so caught up in what you're doing and what you love that it can really bring you down when you have a bad week. But I think his perspective and his family and faith have kind of kept him grounded. And I'd certainly think it's beneficial.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the other thing that helps with Scottie, though, is he doesn't really have down weeks. Like, he has like a 6+ game and he finishes like 8th. Like, so it's not so much even like Rory, who's the second best golfer in the world right now, has a lot more like volatility to his game. Scottie's is just pretty much always even.
The last time Scottie didn't finish in the top 10 or the top 8 was the Players when he finished 20th.
Jeez.
That's literally, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 11 straight events in the top 8.
When you can get arrested for a traffic violation entering a golf club like any other guy, I mean, why? You just got to feel like a normal guy. You know what I mean? There you go.
Yeah, absolutely love it. All right, let's get on to the tournament this week. Jason, course analysis, Royal Portrush. What are the golfers going to be facing on this link style course this week? What stats and type of things are we looking at this week?
Yep, like you said, Royal Portrush, 7,381 yards, par 71. Fescue greens again, like last week. It was last played here in 2019 when Shane Lowry won, as we mentioned, but a little bit different tournament. This year, they're getting a lot better weather, and the course is going to be a little bit more firm and fast. That year was pretty much waterlogged, so I'm not going to make a direct comparison, I don't think, to that tournament. 0 water hazards on the course, 57 bunkers. 3 of the easiest holes are on the top in the first 5 holes, so you're going to want to do your damage at the beginning because pretty much if you play those over par, you're going to play yourself out of the tournament the first day. A little bit different than we're used to in majors. Top 70 and ties are going to make the cut. 5 of the last 7 Open winners have been 32 or older, so that's an interesting one. Like experience really matters in this tournament and in the Open, so that's something to keep your eye on. Greens are going to be hard to putt on, just like last week. Slow greens, like Drew said earlier. Undulating, sloped greens. You're gonna have to putt well if you're gonna win this week. So. Also, one more point. Sorry, the greens are raised, so that's a little bit atypical of Open courses. You're gonna have to fly the ball a little higher here than you are. You're not gonna be able to run up on any of these greens, so you're gonna have to.
You're not putting from 75 feet
No,
off.
no. You're gonna have to fly the ball on these greens.
I hate link style courses, but the one thing I love about link style courses is I can putt from. I don't have to pull out my wedge from 30 yards. I could just putt. Drew, do you have anything to add to what Jason had to say there about Portrush here?
No, I mean he's exactly right. And that's kind of the differential from normal links to Portrush that we're talking about. You don't normally deal with false fronts and runoffs on edges of greens. Everything's pretty flat in front of you. I just love I love 0 water hazards, right? Like that's the difference. The hazards themselves are the bunkers and the fescue. And I would love if we got a decent weather week, for the simple fact is I always feel like the Open screws out half the field with the draw, right? Whether you're morning late or you're late morning, like somebody's getting screwed. So if we can keep somewhat decent conditions, but that also leads me to believe that they're likely going to be able to tear it up a little bit, because that's just the name of the game. These courses don't have any defense outside of the wind. So birdies could come in bunches, and even at a major championship. So I don't know if necessarily the people at Portrush like that they're getting great weather, because I think that they want the course's teeth to show. Yeah. But it's definitely going to look way different than the last time we were at Portrush.
I mean, it is Northern Ireland. The weather right now, it's Tuesday, East Coast time, 6:18. Looks good for the week for the most part. But literally in the next 5 hours, that report could change like that. Fair. Like that's what Northern Ireland is. Like literally anything can happen in a 5-minute span that changes that.
It changed from yesterday to today. Yesterday it looked like Sunday was going to be the only day that might have some weather. Now it looks like Thursday might. So it could change. I mean, monitor up until lineup lock tomorrow.
Yeah. And again, lineup locks 2 a.m. Make sure you guys get your lineups locked and stay awake to check for late withdrawals and stuff like that. I was watching. I don't know if it was Michael Kim. Or one of the golfers that's always constantly tweeting out,
Michael Kim's a great follow.
Yeah. He's a great. I'm not sure if it was him I was watching, but he said he had like an 8-something tee time and a 1 o'clock tee time. That was his wave or whatever. And he said based off of the wave, the times of his in each wave of him, he's not going to see a weather advantage one or the other. So it's either the super early or the super lates that are going to see the weather advantages or disadvantages. But the guys that are in the middle, the late early tee times and the early late tee times, there's not going to be much of a difference. Steven, what are you thinking about Royal Portrush here and this course?
The bunkers, how big some of these, the walls can be. If you get into one of those pop bunkers, I mean, you're not going to be able to hit up over it. So you're hitting backwards or you're hitting to the side. And then just where they're placed in the fairway. Last week, they were on the outsides of the fairways. This week, they're inside the fairway. So, creativity is going to be big here. Guys are going to have to be creative. Like Jason was saying, these greens, they're high up. So if you hit short, that baby's coming back down. So, which is going to lead to frustration. So the mental game here is also big. How much these guys don't let the frustration of I hit it in the fairway, but it decided to bounce wherever it decided to go, and it rolled into a pop bunker. You know what I mean? So those, just to chime into what Drew and Jason were saying, those are the things that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean the bunkers are obviously always difficult at Open Championships, but I read it's like the fewest bunkers on any Open Championship course are at Royal Portrush. So they're difficult, but they're not as many, right, Jason?
Yeah, there's only 57. So I mean, last week
a lot of bunkers, but not
but
not for an Open Championship, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right, so let's take a look at the board here. Obviously, we start with the top of the board, and the first question is always to play or not to play Scottie Scheffler is 14,200. Obviously, there's a 5K range. There's not much to play down there. You got 4 names priced 10K and above. Scottie at 14.2, Rory at 11.5, John Rahm at 10.4, and Bryson 10.1. Drew, I normally ask this to Jason, but I'm going to ask you first. Did they get the pricing on Scottie Scheffler right this week?
Yeah. I mean, I think it made this DFS very intriguing because it's either, I think personally, I see people going down to Rory or Rahm just because of the money aspect of it. So I think that makes Scottie Scheffler more playable ownership wise. He's the best player in the land. Rory missed the cut here, as we spoke about last time at Portrush. I also think that was a huge amount of pressure on Rory. You can say the same thing about Lowry, who definitely came out and played well and won. But I think this time around, Rory will be a little bit more relaxed. His game's starting to come back into shape after the time off from Augusta. But yeah, I like it. And I think it gives the people that are going to be on Scottie more of an advantage ownership wise, because the difference between Scottie and Rory is significant. And people are looking to save money to add players in the middle range, more than they are to go to a high low. So I kind of like it from the aspect of somebody that's likely going to be big in on Scottie.
Jason, are you kind of shocked at the early ownership projections? Because I know you said you don't like Scottie because of the price this week, not the golfer, this week in DFS. Right now on Fantasy National, his usage in lineup generators right now, it's the highest in the field at 31.2% of the lineups generated through Fantasy National right now. So people are still using Scottie and dipping into the 5K, low 6K, just instead of, fading him and going to Rahm or Rory or whatnot. Are you shocked with those numbers right now?
It's changed a lot today. I think that was the biggest thing is I looked at it last night and it was like 17.9 or something before I went to bed. And now it's up to 30, which is interesting. I think people are kind of tricking themselves into, or not tricking themselves. That's kind of probably the wrong way to put it, but just deciding that Scottie's the best player in the world. And so I have to play him. And I think everybody saw the ownership yesterday and today. And now I think it's changing a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see, I think, what happens tomorrow a little bit. I think they got Scottie's price right. I actually really like Scottie's price this week in terms of DFS. I think they got Rory's price wrong. I think $2,700 in between the two of them is too much. I think so. I heard it was Andy Lack's podcast today, I think, said the difference between Scottie and Rory is the same from Rahm to Spieth and from Rory to Morikawa. So that's a huge difference in price. I mean, just to think Rahm to Spieth, you're talking about a major champion, a guy that is, looked really well, and everybody, one of the most popular guys this week in Rahm, versus a guy in Spieth that has a good track record, but has been real shaky for 2 years. So I don't know. I think Rahm's going to be the most popular when it's all said and done, and I think he's my favorite regardless.
Oh yeah, Rahm hands down is my favorite from that group.
Yep, absolutely. Steven, where are you at in this 10K and above out of these 4 golfers right now?
I agree with Jason, Andrew. Scottie's priced right. I think everyone else isn't. And I think that's the biggest problem with them already having these set prices a week ahead. They're not giving these even live guys. I mean, I think you could probably put Rory in a 12K range by himself. You could probably put Rahm in an 11K range by himself and have Bryson be where you start the 10K range. And then because 70% of this field is 7K or below, getting Scottie in these lineups is going to be easy, especially with how some of these guys in the 5K range who we saw last week are going to play. So, I mean, you could, with any of these three guys, you can win. You're going to have winning value. And so I like, though, I'm starting with Rory. The price tag for me for Scottie is just still too big because you can still build a balanced lineup with Rory. And I like Rahm.
What are
Just
the
what he's
Bryson
done with
odds?
Live.
I think people don't realize
I
how
like
good.
him.
I think people don't realize how good Rory's been in opens too. Like you see, like the track record. Everybody talks about the track record of Rahm and different guys. Like Rory has 7 top 6s in opens. That's only one less than Tiger had in his career. So I mean, like that puts a lot. That shows a lot about Rory. Obviously, he's got the home game, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on him this week. But the last time it was played at Portrush, he was awful Thursday, and then he shot the course record on Friday. So it's like he obviously just had one bad round. He missed the cut, so it looked horrible. But really, I mean, it was kind of misleading.
Drew, I think you were going to say there's something before that, right?
Yeah, I just don't. It seems, and I'm kind of fall into this groupthink of it, but not a lot of Bryson love at all. I've seen, especially for him to be the 4th highest, salary out there. I don't know if the Open fits well for his game, but is anybody in on Bryson, or are you just moving on down? Because it doesn't seem like anyone's really mentioned him out of these 4 guys that we've talked about.
Owned. That's really low.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get different in your lineup builds, isn't that Bryson? And I get what you're saying. He doesn't have great. I mean, in the last 5 years at the Open, he's gone miscut 60, 8th, 33rd miscut. So he's got inconsistent results. And
for your lineup though with Rahm and Bryson, I mean, you really can do that easily.
And then I guess he missed the cut at the U.S. Open. And he was playing great on Live earlier in the year. He was 30th last week. I think it's kind of crazy the lack of respect someone that's won multiple majors and contended in plenty of other majors, is getting right now. And I have not put Bryson in any lineups yet, but I've got a lot of lineups left to build. And I kind of think that there's an argument to be made that you take that chance. I mean, Drew, the Open, it's volatile, right? You're going to have to take some chances, and there's going to be a lot of risk reward in building lineups this week. Is it that crazy of a risk?
No, and that's Bryson's game too, right? Like he's high ceiling, low floor. And yeah, his results may not be great, but yeah, if you're looking, especially if you're building DFS lineups, you want to have something different out there with high, a high ceiling. So if he comes out and shits the bed, it is what it is, right? You're not going to play him in every lineup. But I certainly think there's value, especially if he's low owned with the game he has. I mean, again, he can bomb. It's bomb and gouge. And it's just, for me, it's the short game. I always have concerns with his short game when it comes to places like this and the creativity, especially with the single length irons and his 60-degree being a 7-iron length. I just feel like sometimes he doesn't have the creativity and touch around the greens. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy that has a higher ceiling is anybody in the field. So it's definitely worth taking a flyer on and kind of going from there.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk strategy and stuff like that with DFS, I tried this out at the U.S. Open with the volatility at the U.S. Open. It didn't work out for me, but it's still in the back of my head. It's like, I don't know, Drew, what you do, but me and Jason always talk about how many players to use in our player pool based off of how many lineups and whatnot. When there's an excessively volatile event, I try to zone in on 2 or 3 guys I really love. And then instead of playing 20 names and 20 lineups, play 30 names. And so that if somebody misses the cut, it's not killing 8 of my lineups or 7 of my lineups because that one guy, screwed me totally. Maybe this is where you get that creative. You throw 3 lineups with Bryson or 4, so that if he does have a bad week, it's not killing you.
Absolutely. And to Jason Anstey's point, like look at the amount of people 7K and down. Like they've priced this for lots of options, right? And that's just it. It's DraftKings to me doesn't really know how the hell to price people this week. No. And they basically just said, hey, we'll give you 10 guys and everybody else we're going to put at 7,000 down. Like I saw Sergio Garcia ranked over like above Keegan. Like there's just some weird things in the pricing. I get it's difficult, but this is definitely a week where I'm willing to add more names to the player pool because I think there's upside and I think there's value when we're getting guys at 7,000 and normally would be in the 9,000 range. I just don't quite think that they had a precise point in making these prices, and I think that's something that can be taken advantage of.
There's some really weird pricing too. I mean, we talked about Straka a little bit. Like Straka being at 7,300, that makes no sense at all. There's some guys in the lower, like Harris English, way too low. There's just guys that I don't know if people are saying the pricing is the way it is because of last week. I think they just got some names just flat out wrong. And it's
Straka finished in 7th last week.
They set themselves up. Like it's almost like DraftKings sets it up for high ownership. Like they want. I don't know if they want that's. I don't know if they're smart enough to want you to have to make the choice on guys like Straka, but like Straka's like that, Fitzpatrick's like that,
Patrick,
in a way, like it's like they're underpriced. So I don't know. It's just weird. The 8K range in general is a weird price too. It just doesn't make any sense that Brooks is in the 8Ks when you have guys like Spieth and Straka and Fitz in the 7Ks. Like, what are we doing here?
Has anybody ever met or interviewed any of the people that build the prices for DraftKings? Because I would be very interested to find out who some of these people are in that room and get a chance to talk to them. Like that would be something that would be very intriguing for me to find out how to get a hold of one of those people.
They go off for odds mainly. That's probably the main thing they go off of, but I really don't know. But
it's probably some guy
I would love to talk about them. It's probably all computer, it's all probably computer generated. They probably have some algorithm written down somewhere.
I like how they just don't know anybody that isn't on the PGA Tour. They just don't know. So they're like, 6,200.
Dude, there's guys who've been on the tour for 5 years. They don't even have a picture of them.
Right. Tom Kim's name is still not spelled right. You know, it's still the name with the letter J or whatever, however you say it. All right, let's get into the 9K range and fire through the 8-9K range because obviously there's a lot to talk about below that. Steven, Xander, Tommy Fleets, the defending champ at this course, Lowry, Oberg, Bobby Mack. That's your 9K range. That's pretty much it. So, Steven, what's your favorite play in the 9K range?
Definitely Lowry, but I also like Xander. I think he's come into form since his injury. T8 last week. He's never missed a cut here at the Open. It'd be very rare to see someone go back-to-back at the Open, but he kind of has the pedigree to be able to do it. So I like Xander.
Jason?
I like Xander too, pretty much for all the same reasons. He is playing this week or this year a higher ball flight, which typically for the Open would make me a little bit worried. But since you are going to have a higher ball flight here, it actually is something I think is a positive this week. So I just think his all-around game is exactly what you need for the Open. So I don't know, like Steve said, I don't know if he can win again, but I think top 5, top 10 for him for sure. And then I'm going to be playing Oberg. I think just the ownership based in this range, I think the talent's too good. And he just has struggled so much with the short game that I feel like if he can figure it out even a little bit, which is a big ask, obviously, but like I feel like he can contend. And I think with the ownership and with the ownership going to the other guys, like Fleetwood's going to be super popular. Xander's going to be really popular. Lowry, I think his ownership was like 9% last time.
8 or 9%. Yeah,
8 or 9%. That's pretty low for a world-class guy.
All you got to do with Oberg is watch out for that 1 or 2 hole stretch. Like, was it Saturday or Sunday last week where he went 5 over on 3 holes?
Bogey, triple bogey. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it actually seemed so much like it looked way worse than that even.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew, what are you looking at in this range here?
I kind of agree with a lot of what they're saying. Xander coming back from injury, he's just gotten steadily better and better and better. Finished with 66 on Sunday last week. I love Xander here. The Tommy Fleetwood thing. Listen, I love Tommy Fleetwood, but the win equity's not there. Tommy Fleetwood's always over ownership on every single week we do this. Now, yes, he gagged away a tournament earlier this year, but it's like for me, I'm looking in this range. It's like, how am I going to talk myself into Fleetwood over Xander from a win equity perspective? And then Oberg is the wild card. You guys hit it on to go bogey, triple bogey. I mean, but the problem is he's had that stretch. It seems like one day every tournament. The guy looks like an absolute machine, and then we run into this. Don't get me wrong. I expect to load my phone up in the morning when I wake up on Thursday and he's up by the lead. But damn, does that worry me? And those are so Xander and Oberg are the two I like there. I definitely lead Xander. I'm indifferent on Lowry. The last major I take away, he was completely awful. I think he shot in the 80s one of the day. So I just kind of washed that. Home cooking, the fans being beside him are definitely going to be beneficial. But But I do love Xander the most out of this range. But Oberg's upside is great until that quad on Sunday.
I think the 9K range is perfect for DFS. I think the 9K range is awful if you want to bet these guys. I mean, I bet one of them, which I'm going to mention in a second, but I think the winner there's a strong chance the winner is either from the 10K range and above or below the 9K range here. Nobody's in on Bobby Mack. I know, he had a rough showing last week, but there was a lot of pressure on him going as the defending champion of his national tournament and stuff like that, the Scottish Open. Bobby Mack's never missed a cut at an Open. He finished in the top 10 when they last played here at Royal Portrush. For some reason, Bobby Mack has always been a guy to me that if he wins one major, and I only think he's good enough to win one major in his career, it's going to be an Open Championship. If I'm going to take chalk, I mean, I kind of feel like it's got to be Bobby Mack in this range.
I just hate that 9 in front of his name. Like, I
get it. And that's why I think his ownership, I mean, right now he's at between 11 and 15%. I mean, that's what I think it's keeping him in that range. And I think you're very good. Like Bobby Mack at 20, 25%, scary. Bobby Mack at 12 or 15%, I can eat it with a 5K range.
Can I make a point about why to not play Lowry?
Absolutely.
So there's been a track record of guys that play well at the Open typically have a good major record that year, right? He has been awful in majors this year, to put it nicely. 42nd at the Masters, missed the cut at PGA, missed the cut at US Open. I just worry. I think in a year like 2019 where the course was really wet, I think that favors his game a little bit more. I think if it's firm and fast with how much he struggles at putting and on the green, I think we're going to see you could see a blowout from him. And that's I know he's always played well in Ireland, and that's obviously a big advantage, but I just think that price, I think he might be
it's just a peak price too, like 9,300 for life. It's just it's high price. I mean, that's to your point. This major season hasn't been great.
Nope.
And then you're throwing 9,300 at me. I'm like, I'm just not that comfortable.
Can you build lineups to just skip the 9K range then?
100%.
The lack of confidence in this 9K range, should you just skip the 9K range and altogether? Because we're getting into the 8K range. And so I asked Andy Lack on his podcast yesterday, I asked him a question. What guy that's chalk or everybody's talking about or everybody's hyping up, is going to, to use Stewie's words, piss in our cornflakes, you know what I mean? And I thought he was good. That was me that asked that question. Nice. Yeah. I thought he was going to answer with the most popular guy in the 8K range, Tyrrell Hatton, because he's a guy that could just completely blow up. And I love Hatton this week. And I'm willing to take that risk of him blowing up. That's not who he answered. And Jason, if you were listening, don't ruin who he answered. We'll get to that name, later on. But in the 8K range, you got again, just like some of these other ranges, Morikawa overpriced, maybe not overpriced. Patrick Cantlay, Victor Hovland. You got a lot of guys that could win an Open Championship or who have, but none of them are in peak form. And to me, the 8K range starts with Hatton. I think that's the best play, and you take that chance. Drew?
Yeah, I'm a sick individual. I have a sickness. I'm going to be playing Colin Morikawa. I love Tyrrell Hatton. I do. He's very popular. I also will dabble with Joaquin Niemann. Yeah. Love the ball flight. Love him around here. Hey, listen, the major record sucks. This is where I go a little nuts here. I'll probably be playing Morikawa and I'll probably be playing Niemann. I think Morikawa, again, he's really struggled. He's gone through 66 caddies in the last 3 weeks. The guy can't keep anybody on the bag. I think he's a mental case. I think he's a mental midget. With all that being said, people all are going to be thinking that, and I'm going to play him. And I'm going to look like an ass. But
or you're going to win the million
for Drew.
Steven, what do you got in this 8K range?
I'm going to go back to my guy, Hovland. Morikawa and Niemann. Whoa, a gene. That's what I like to call him. Whoa, like what is he doing? No, I just think the creativity that Hovland has and what he brings to the table, his approach game over the last 24 rounds he's second only behind Scottie. So, that's a key skill here. And I just, since the Valspar, T12, T4, T13 are in his open play, and he's been locked in since the Valspar, since that win there. And last year's cut doesn't bother me because I think he had a horrible season last year. I just think that he's that guy in what was it, that T15 or better the last three in the Scottish Open the last 3 years, has gone on to win the Open. I think he's that guy. So he's my favorite. Probably
Jason?
biased.
This is a tough range because I think the ownership's all going to go to, kind of to Drew's point, is all going to go to Hatton and Hovland, which is, I mean, they're both good plays. I don't really have knocks against them. I just feel like each of these guys in this range has one major weakness in their game. Hovland's around the green game is awful, and this is like we mentioned earlier, this is a course where your around the green game is going to have to be good. And I just wonder about him a little bit. I wonder about Hatton on the greens. He's such a bad putter, and I mean, 3-putt avoidance is super important this week. He's 95th in the field. So I mean, like, there's a weakness for each of these guys. If I was going to go with any of them, I think Hovland's upside is the best. But I think his ownership's going to be like 23% or something like that. So yeah, Hovland's my favorite. I'm on the fence about Hatton right now, and I thought about Morikawa too. I just hate him.
Just so you know, I mean, I put Morikawa on my list. I put Morikawa on my list.
Yeah.
And out of the lineups I've built, I just haven't landed on him yet. I just can't. Did he also fire his swing coach this week or something like that?
He fired.
I read that he fired his. He literally. He's got. It's just him and his dog sitter on his bag, and that's it. You know what I mean? And
his wife better look out. He's gonna be filing divorce papers here soon.
He might have already broke up with her too. Who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody else, right?
You know, we talk about the gutless loser team captain. He might be the team captain.
Yeah. Hey, Morikawa, as soon as he's just gonna be carrying his own bag.
There is, just to pull on your thing, Jason, on the gutless loser team. Okay, the all-time gutless losers. There's more gutless losers 8K and above than there is 7,900 and below in this field, right?
Fleetwood, Morikawa, Cantlay.
Anyone like Brooks? Anyone like Brooks? His caddy is a member to Royal Portrush. So anyone taking any
came up on the challenge tour. It's been so bad on Live.
Yeah. Brooks looked better at the PGA.
For like 5 minutes.
Yeah. I just he's going through something right now, and he just looks miserable out there.
He's another guy where
he had a kid, and all of a sudden he can't.
That's what give you the perspective where you start playing better. You're a dad and stuff. And
dad power, right? Isn't that like a shots gained dad power? I think it's actually
just had another one.
Who did?
I think Spieth just had another kid too.
He did.
Well, that's good, because we're getting into the 7K range, and Jordan Spieth's there, and I don't care about Jordan Hell's injury issues. I don't care about his form. Jordan Spieth at the Open is an instant play, in my opinion. It has to be a lock, right, Jason?
In creativity around the greens, God, if he can putt a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I like Spieth a lot. I was hoping that his ownership would be even lower. I think I'm seeing him around like 10% now. But I think
he's got 12 now. So
yeah, I think he's a play.
Yeah, I think you got a lock. Drew, where are you at in the 7K? I think there are literally about 5 to 8 names that you absolutely can put in your player pool in this range and not worry about.
Yeah, I mean, listen, nobody is a bigger Jordan Spieth guy than me. I've spent so much money betting him and losing like in the last 4 to 5 years. There'll be Spieth on my card. I think that the most intriguing name is Justin Rose. I think he's going to be way overowned. So I'm going to stay away from there. My favorite play from this range is Adam Scott. I think Adam Scott is he's just rock solid. He always shows up to the majors. He's ready. He's always ready to roll. I love him. You get him at what, 7,300? Yeah, 7,300. He's right there with Cam Young, who's a gutless loser. So yeah, give me the 7,300.
Playing well,
Adam
though.
Scott.
He's playing well.
He's
Let me tell you something.
I am captain, but he's definitely on the team.
I'm so pissed at the Adam Scott betting numbers, because about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I was given a free bet, and the first thing I did was take that free bet and go bet Adam Scott to win the Open. But it was 60 to 1, and now it's like 80 to 1. And I'm like, oh man, I could have taken that free bet and gotten such a better number. But I literally had 24 hours to place that free bet.
That's how they do it. They're like, here's $700 in free bets. They got to be placed in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And I actually had 2 bets in 2 days, and I bet them on Adam Scott and another name you just mentioned, Cam Young, to win the Open. So I'm kind of kicking. Both their numbers are so much better now. Steven, what are you looking at here in this 7K range?
Two guys. One who probably a lot of people, he played really well last week, Sepp. I just think he's great at the 3 things you really need, accuracy off the tee, approach play, and putting. He got solo 7th last week, but then I'm going to go back to a short game specialist, one of my favorite, Bulldog, Brian Harman, previous winner of the Open, super accurate, is so good at, strategically, knowing where he wants to place the ball. And I think that's going to be key with, we talked about the bunkers and there not being that many, but it's where they're placed at on the course that's where strategy, accuracy off the tee is going to be a key. And I just think that, down there at the bottom of the 7K range, you get all that with Harman.
What do you guys do with Fitz?
I'm playing Fitz. I'm not betting Fitz, but I'm playing Fitz.
I can't believe Brian Harman won an Open Championship.
I know.
And not only did he win, he beat the shit out of everyone too. Like he didn't. Now it's
everyone. What won by like 2 strokes?
Yeah, and it was like he didn't have to do anything on Sunday. He just had to not die.
Brian Harman isn't even a real person. He's an actor from Impractical Jokers that just pretends to play golf every so often. Like, what's the guy's Murr? He's just Murray.
Right, Murr.
Murr, right? That's all.
Like Murr.
Yeah, he doesn't work. They are the same. You cannot convince me they're not the same person.
Brian Harman's just like one of those guys that he hasn't given me a reason. I just cannot stand him. I don't know why.
No.
Something about him. I don't know. I'm just not a fan.
You could beat him up too, dude.
I want to throw 2 other
He's
names.
like
hold his head. Just hold his head, and he'd be like,
Yeah, that's all it said. Jason beat his ass like that golf course fight I saw. Toss him in the pond.
bam,
bang. Yeah, it was so good.
Rashad's dropping another name that I want to ask you guys about because there's 2 names at the bottom of the 7K that I like a little bit this week. One being Patrick Reed, the other one being Ryan Fox. Anybody like or strongly dislike either of those 2 names?
I like both.
I like Reed.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Patrick Reed this is what sucks, man, because I feel like if Patrick Reed was playing on the PGA Tour, he'd have way more respect in as far as his salary goes. He's played really well in the majors.
I know where you're going.
You want to talk about a short game specialist? Like Patrick Reed can get it up and down from everywhere, and Ryan Fox can just overpower a golf course. Ryan Fox is a slept-on golfer. I like the win equity more, of course, with Patrick Reed, but I like both guys. And again, I don't know. Maybe Rose is getting overlooked. I just think that when you roll it out to this venue, you roll it out Open Championship, I have a feeling Justin Rose at the end of this thing will be pretty high owned.
I thought you were going to say, I thought you were going to lead that into Patrick Reed should be on the Ryder Cup team, which I think
no.
I think he should be.
I'm not against it, but here's the deal with the Ryder Cup. As we know, it's I feel like the captains, and I hope Keegan's not like this, but they're afraid to dip their toe too far into the live thing.
Right.
I mean, of course, Bryson and Brooks will likely be on the team. Not even Brooks at this point. But yeah, I don't disagree. And talk about a bulldog and talk about a Ryder Cup guy. That is Patrick Reed.
It's also hard though when it's all about team camaraderie and everyone hates Patrick Reed.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he's Captain America, remember, from it the Ryder Cup? I know, exactly. But speaking of the Ryder Cup, Keegan Bradley gets us into the 6K range. And Jason, I think I was talking to you, or maybe I was talking to Steven about this. Like, the first bet I made on Monday was when I saw Keegan Bradley 90-1. I'm like, oh, I got to bet that. Oof. And then I looked. He's missed 5 straight cuts at Open Championships.
I think like he's missed 8 out of 11 cuts in Open.
Like, he's awful.
It's all about 100-1.
He should be good at an Open, and he's god awful at the Open. And so now that kind of screwed up my whole 6K plan, was because I thought I was going to be heavily invested in Keegan Bradley.
He's in that range too, where it's like you look at his name, he's better than everybody around him, but then you look at his track record and you're like, oh shit.
He hits a moon ball, man. He hits a moon ball, and it just hasn't fared well across the pond. However, hey, listen, if conditions are a little benign this week, maybe this is his week to contend.
Hey, we're just getting into the 6K range, K1. Yes, Bazudnut is in it. I don't think Bazudnut's on too many people's cards.
Is he in the tournament?
He is.
Was top 15 last week.
Where's Kyle? You know who's in the tournament, Jason? Justin Suh.
I heard the other day.
I thought of it.
Kyle? Where's Kyle in the chat for Justin Suh? All right, 6K range. Drew, you got a name or two you like down here?
Yeah, I mean, first one pops out, and he's not playing well. It's Tony Finau. I mean, look what he did here in 2019. Again, there's always going to be a guy where you fade because of recent form, and I think a lot of people will be doing that with Tony Finau. I like Tony Finau at 6,800. I just got to say, what the hell happened to Cam Smith, man? What happened to Cam Smith? Guy wins the Open. Now he's at 6,800, sandwiched between.
Did Liv ruin anybody more than him? You know.
He's missed the cut in his last 4 majors.
Yeah. I mean, come on, got her up one time, and he's above Cam Smith. It's sad.
I thought 2 years ago that Cam Smith and Finau would have been in the 6Ks.
Yeah. So I mean,
that about them a year ago. Yeah,
exactly. So I like Tony Finau. I'll also take a flyer on Tom Kim, who also just changed caddies. Tom Kim is typically mediocre on a regular tour stop. However, sometimes spikes during majors. At 6,600, I'm willing to play that.
Steven, what do you got down here?
I like Aaron Rai. A consistent cut maker, 14 out of 17 this year. 8 top 25 finishes, 2 out of 3 cuts at the Open. You want to talk about a guy who's accurate, at every, off the tee with his irons. The putting might be the one thing that scares me, but I mean, down here at the 6K range with everything else that he does well, he checks enough boxes to be able to pull the trigger.
Jason, let's see if you get one of my names. I got a surprise name here in the 6K range.
Harry Hall's one for me. The guy just doesn't miss putts, which is unbelievable.
What a season!
I worry a little bit that this is his first Open. I'm pretty sure, so I worry
it's
that a little bit.
Hat for me.
Hat. I worry a little bit about that. Cam Smith, I'm trying to get on board with playing. I really am, because I think he would fit this course perfectly, but he just blows right now. It sucks because I think he would be an ideal course fit. Tom Kim's probably my favorite though. I really thought when he got Paul Tesori on his bag that it would go the other way. He's been so god awful, but for some reason he's good in this part of the world. He's good in Scotland, and he's good over. I don't know. He's interesting to me.
All right, I'm going to throw a name. He hasn't played in an Open Championship in a couple of years. He went out and qualified for it. Sergio Garcia has great Open Championship history at 6,700, and his ownership is going to be literally next to nothing. Am I crazy for thinking a couple lineups right now with Sergio at 2 or 3% ownership would be an awful idea?
I think there's
all pivot team.
He's been terrible.
Oh, stop!
Respectfully.
Oh, stop!
He burned me at the Masters. I had him. I was really big on him at the Masters, and he burned me.
Yeah.
So
how about some of the guys from the DP Tour that are in the low 6K, upper 5K? There were a couple that were on last week, like Peng and Raiton. They're there at 6K and 5,900. Jason, are you back on either of them? Because I like both of them in very small doses again this week. We don't get to see these live guys play very often. Or not live, the DP guys, and getting to see them last week. Those two guys have some game to them. And one of them, I think, has earned the right to be on the PGA Tour next year.
They do. I just worry about course fit a little bit. They both bomb it, which is awesome. I just don't think their games really fit this course as well. I like Jordan Smith. I mean, I think he has back-to-back top 12s and Opens. I think he's slept on a little bit. We've seen him. People know the name a little bit, I think. So that we've seen him in majors. He hasn't really done all that well in majors, but I think he is my favorite at 5,900 in this range.
Rashad's saying Matt Wallace, Minwoo Lee, and Big Game Hunter Sung J M. Anybody in on any of those games? Because none of those names even made my maybe.
Sung J M has been awesome in Opens.
He's a flusher, man.
I like Minwoo. He's around the green. His around the green play, and he can bomb it. He's not quite that accurate off the tee, but he's got the distance to get you out there. And then, like I said, his around the green play. What about Tom McKibben, the other Northern Ireland guy?
Yeah.
Somebody
mentioned him earlier in the show because of the Northern Ireland.
I mentioned him. Yeah. T4, T5, his last 2 outings at Live, T66 last year here. Yeah, it is a member. I love the members. I like all 3 of the Ireland guys, Rory, Lowry, and McKibben.
Okay. All right. So this is the part of the show where we pull up our records for the year. Drew, this is where we stand in one and dones in our weekly DFS contest. Unfortunately, Steven has 4 wins. There's only been 2 wins on the DFS contest this year. So this is a chance for you to crack the list with Rashad and Elise. The one and dones, Jason is just completely running away with it right now. But that could change like that with one big win this week from one of us. But that's where we stand on our weekly contest so far. Drew, I'm assuming that Jason told you what our weekly contest is, right?
I did not. Sorry.
Oh, you did. We built. Good job, Jason.
Sorry,
Great work.
Sorry,
Put
buddy.
in the spot here, Jason.
So we built we built a DraftKings lineup.
Okay.
Fantasy golf style, snake style. You can't dupe anybody. So if I take Scottie, you can't take Scottie. So there's no dupes. We built 4 separate lineups. And who won last week? Jason. Did you win last week?
Yeah.
So Jason gets to pick the order.
Fuck,
So just snake draft?
not just did I win, it was a fucking blowout. Let's be honest.
He blew it out.
Okay.
I did get the Victor Perez. I did get the Victor Perez first round leader. So
You
I did get
good,
that one.
good job on you for the first round leader. You know.
That was solid.
I woke up at 1:45 and made that bet at 1:52 a.m.
Damn.
You are a
to right before. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Hey,
Zach
Steve just
Johnson,
wants
first
it
round
more,
leader.
Zach Johnson.
Zach Johnson, first round leader. You
Wow.
heard it first.
All right.
Where?
You know what?
This
I'm
week?
I'm writing it down. Zach Johnson.
All
I'm
right.
placing $1 on that after the show.
I got
Only
the order.
$1.
It'll probably make you 2.8 million if you throw a dollar on
It
it.
really might. So why not? I have lost out of all golf betting and fantasy. I have lost more money percentage wise on first round leaders than anything else in the history of golf. I've never hit one. I've been betting it for 5 years, never
Me
hit
too.
one.
It's like I
Never.
bet it, and the guy he's like not even in the tournament. He just immediately is DFL. Like I don't understand how it works like that.
All right,
Jake
Jason,
has
what's
got
the
me
order of
mugged.
this contest here?
All right, we're gonna go Steve 1, Drew 2, you 3, me 4.
Okay, so that's the order. So, Steven, you go first.
All right, I'm gonna go Xander.
I'll go with John Rahm.
Asshole. There's a lot of battling going on in this here. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna go Ludwig Oberg here with my first
Oh,
pick.
you fuckers.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I have to go Rory.
I mean, you don't have to. You can go Bryson if you
I
want
feel like
to.
I should go Rory.
Okay.
You guys are going
Go
all
Brooks.
I'm gonna go Rory, and I'm gonna go Sepp.
Nice.
That is not the way I thought it was gonna go.
I am going to put my money where my mouth is here. Despite what Drew says, I am going to go Sergio Garcia with my second pick.
Oof.
Aggressiveness.
Yes.
Is he gonna
Second
wear that
round pick.
annoying ass red and yellow fireballs
Oh,
outfit?
I hate it. His outfits are god awful. I
They're
can't
the
stand
worst,
his
dude.
outfits.
They're the
They
worst.
are straight trash. If I rocked something like that, my wife would literally divorce me in 30 seconds.
And
She
she
might
has
have
the
a
right to
good-
do so.
Yeah, she literally probably has a divorce lawyer on speed dial just in case I dress like that.
He looks like a horse jockey.
He does. He absolutely
He does
does.
look like horse, and he's the same size as one too. I think he's like
Yeah.
5'4". I'm up next.
Yes.
Give me Adam Scott.
I love Adam Scott this week so much. All right, Steven, you're on the clock for 2 here.
I'm gonna go Spieth and Hovland.
I think I fucked myself with the order. All my picks are gone.
I mean, I talk shit. Give me Colin Morikawa.
Yeah, you kind of have to do that. You have to back
Yeah,
up.
I
what
was
you
saying
talk
a lot of
about, you
things.
know. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go Justin Rose then with my next pick.
Rosie. Oh god.
And you just made me write. I just wrote down in my book Rosie instead of Rose because you said that.
Rosie.
I'm
I
gonna
love when they
go,
call him that too. It's the best.
I'm gonna go Jordan Smith. Dumpster dive in here. And then oh god, this makes me want to vomit, but I'm gonna go Tommy.
Fleets. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to go Peng. Is it Peng or Penge or whatever his name is?
It's
Yeah.
neither. I forget what it is though.
Yeah.
Penge or something? Something.
Penge.
Penye?
You know,
Is that the
K1.
guy?
Penge. That's what it is.
K1 in the chat will be Google searching how to pronounce his name so he can make fun of me on it tomorrow morning on the morning show. So, you know.
All right, is it me?
Yeah, you're up. Yeah.
Patrick Reed.
Nice.
And you are building outside of Kawa. You're building a strong lineup there, Drew.
Outside of your best guy. You gotta
Outside of your best guy, you're doing a great job.
Yeah. all your scrubs are good.
So So he's already saying it. He's sure I pronounced it wrong. So, whenever you get all these European guys in a tournament, there's always hard names to pronounce.
Yeah, we're gonna give you a pass. Pen gay.
Harmon and Fitz.
Ooh,
Harmon and Matt Fitzpatrick.
Harmon and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Gotcha.
Oh shit, that's funny.
All right, Drew, you're back up.
Oh, I'm back up. I'm sorry. Give me Xander Schauffele.
Somebody took Xander already.
I got him.
Don't give me Xander. Give me. Hang on. Oh man. All right.
Tough choices here. It's very hard when there's 4 guys and you can only pick one. Yeah, guys.
I'll take Tony Finau.
There you go. I actually don't hate it.
That.
It's creative, actually.
He's in the wind, or he used to be.
Yeah.
He was third in greens in regulation in 2019. So he hit like 54 of them or something like that. I saw.
Just need first.
6 years ago, he was money.
Sorry. There we go.
I love it.
All right, I'm gonna get creative here because I haven't put him in a single lineup this week yet.
First of all, you already have fucking Garcia in your lineup. You don't need to get creative.
Yeah, buddy, your creativity is off the charts.
I'm going Scottie Scheffler.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna go. I mean, my last pick, I've only got 6,400 left, so it really puts me in a really tough spot.
I'm gonna go. God, I hate this team's guts. Hold on, maybe not.
We got a team of gutless losers for you, Jason. Here,
this team sucks. All right, I'm gonna go with. Oh my god, none of this shit works.
Yeah, it's.
I hate my team. I don't want to play anymore. All right, I'm gonna go.
You quit mid-show. You can't quit mid-show.
I'm gonna go Hatton.
Hatton.
And then I'm going to go Cam Smith.
All right. Oh, shit.
So I'm going to close my lineup out. Do I leave money on the table or
Never
not?
hated a team more than I've ever made in my life than this team.
This one's
Cam Smith and who?
Hatton.
Cam Smith and Hatton he went with. So for K1, his favorite golfer in the world, I'm going to take Seabez. Christian Bazoodenhout.
This is the most ridiculous lineup I've ever seen in my life.
Luckily,
he did well last week.
This is a dollar lineup. That's all it is. Single entry dollar. That's all I throw that's in.
Yeah. Give me Justin Thomas.
I thought about it too.
We didn't even talk JT there, so I like that. All right. Probably
JT's one of those guys you'll know by Thursday morning if it's good or bad.
On the third hole, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
I'll say this bold choice. JT finishes higher than Morikawa this week.
Oh well, as long as it's 1-2, we're in good shape.
JT's gonna win. Morikawa's gonna.
We're in good shape. There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna be fine.
Drew's got his name at it, right there. All right, Steven, who's your last pick?
Lowry.
Shane Lowry. Gotcha. All right, Drew, did you have any bets this week? Anything done betting wise?
Yeah, I put $80 on John Rahm to win. That's all I'm betting. As
Just
far
one
as
and done.
outright bets, yep, single bullet John Rahm. It's gonna lose me $80.
You know what? I like
at majors though.
Honestly, if a top tier guy, I love John Rahm. I couldn't get on 12-1 on him. I had to put a parlay with John Rahm. Who did I parlay him with? I went Rahm with a Fitz top 20, got me up to 33-1. So, I like that.
Sergio top 20.
No.
Yeah, hang on. Let's while you're talking, I'm gonna figure out the Sergio top 20 number here.
Okay, yeah, you figure out the Zach Johnson first round leader because we got.
All right, they didn't even they broke my app. My app's now broken. I'm trying to look at that.
Sorry, you can't.
Jason, who's picking one and dones first this week?
Steve,
who's your one and done this week?
Give me. I'm gonna go. Dang, did I pick him yet? No. I'm gonna go Hovland.
All right. That would mean I am next. I'm gonna go John Rahm with my one and done this week.
That's a great pick. I wanted to use him, but I already did.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Sepp Straka.
Straka one and done. Okay, gotcha. All right. Anybody got any bets they want to announce? I mean, all my bets have been placed online. You guys can all check them out at Fairway to Heaven right there on the Twitter page, and everybody that's watching on replay. Make sure you drop any questions and comments. We will answer them in a timely manner. Anybody have any fun bets that they want to add? Did we figure out Zach Johnson's first-round leader number yet?
200 to 1
for first-round leader. I love it. I am definitely betting that after the show.
He's won it before. He's a previous, open winner. One of my favorite. I just added it late. I got a Harmon outright 120 to 1, but then I also did a Rory win and a Brian Harmon top 20, which is 33 to 1.
I did a Rory win with a Patrick Reed top 20 for
Sergio top 20 plus 450.
It's not as exciting.
Yeah, that's not even close.
That's not that exciting at all.
I expected a 7 or 8 in front of that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Jason, you got anything else you want to wrap up here with?
Christopher Wrighton, my man, 400 to 1. Probably not his course, but I just think the odds are too good. T to green, he's a stud.
I did bet what's his name, the other one, Penge or whatever, 200 to 1. Before is I bet that before round 4 last week, so I know it came down a massive amount this week. So
Christopher Wrighton, Drew. Wrighton.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how you say it. But
gotcha. Real quick before we wrap this show up, guys, I got a really simple non-golf question because we've been talking a lot about all-star breaks and all-star games on the morning show this week here. Yes or no, Drew? Will you watch the all-star game tonight?
Yeah, because it's loaded with Detroit Tigers.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Jason, so I guess you're watching too.
Our guy's starting on the mound, so yes, yeah. I will watch the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll watch 3 innings and then
then you'll be out. Steven, you watching the All-Star game tonight?
Until Kyle Schwarber gets benched and he's out of there.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I'm not watching it tonight. I could care less about the All-Star game, so I don't even care.
Phillies guy too? Oh yeah, that makes sense. We got 2 Detroit, 2 Phillies.
You got literally all Phillies gear back here, and that's it.
I know.
I am wearing a Super Bowl shirt. Something that Detroit doesn't know anything about Super Bowls or anything.
Just let us know when you have the best record in baseball. We can talk.
Gotcha. As we know in football, the best record in the regular season does not always equate to success.
Well, when half the team's dead, I guess you're right.
I like that Dombrowski's doing the same thing to you guys he did to us.
I know. Dombrowski sucks right now.
Drain the farm system, drain everybody in the money.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, the poll on YouTube, the 4 groups. There was a group called Scottie, Xander, Keegan Bradley, and Ludwig Aberg. There was a group, John Rahm, Tyrell Hatton, Lowry, and Hovland. There was a group that only got 1 vote, Morikawa, Bobby Mack, Fitzpatrick, and Fleetwood, and another group with Rory, Rose, Reed, and Spieth. The winning poll was the Rahm group of Rahm, Hatton, Lowry, Hovland. That's where most listeners feel the winner will come from. Somehow, I didn't even get Bryson in a single one of those groups, and I don't even know how I made that happen. But that's how the poll will end up today, guys. Drew, Detroit table.
What table would be the most fun to sit at?
The lunch table. Yeah.
The Rahm and Hatton table. Lowry can knock some beers back, I'm sure. Hovland could bring the hot chick. So the winning group is actually the best table to sit at, too, probably.
Right?
Hovland will be stoned off his ass. It'll be a good time. I'll sit there with them boys.
Side note, speaking of, some reason it just made me think about partying, made me think of Dustin Johnson. And this is his last eligibility. This might be the last time we see Dustin Johnson in a major because his Masters eligibility runs out this week with the Open Championship. So, we might see the end of Mr. Dustin Johnson in majors this week, but who cares? Drew, thank you very much for coming on today. It's been a blast having you on here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. I hope you guys enjoy the Open and have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys as well. Jason, for Steven, I'm Phil Stiefel. Guys, like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Guys, we appreciate it all. We'll be back next week with another episode recapping this and talking next week's event, guys. Everybody have a great night. Bubbles up.